Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast. I'm the Mad Conservative Crime Fighter, and episode 85 of the program. And on a Monday, no less. And I'm about to be joined by the real star of the show, this goofball, Cody the Crashing Cat. Likes to crash my streams. He thinks he's the star of the show. Anyway, have a seat, boy. Anyway, yeah, he's just trouble, isn't he? All right. Last Thursday, my guest was Erica Sevenson. She is the host of Erica's Pinball Journey on YouTube. Got to talk some pinball as I missed out on the Illinois Pinball Expo thanks to this little goof down here. Taking a bite out of my left hand and sending me to urgent care and then having to take him to the vet 10 days later for a mandatory rabies check. Yeah, that was fun. But I got to talk with her and got a little inspired by some of her content. And I'm going to go full screen here. I don't know what that was there. I got a strange pop-up. After she made an appearance on my podcast, I was inspired to go out and acquire something that she is using. And this is upside down. I now have, that's not going to focus, but is an Insta 360 camera. It's a 4X model. So I'll be taking this little device out to gaming conventions and maybe put to use in other applications. But, I've toured gaming conventions, but I can only shoot forward or shoot wherever direction the camera's pointing. Whatever the direction the camera's pointing, and I can't stand this up, so I'm just going to sit that down right there in the corner. There's a lot of details you miss when you're only shooting in one direction. There's all the stuff happening around you, so I'm going to make good use of that, and it's going to be a fun tool for me to hit the convention scene later this year. Also want to make note that, what was I going to say? I had the brave. We had a blizzard this weekend. Yes. Snowfall all over the country, including Central Illinois. So for me to go get this thing, I had to leave Saturday morning and make a trip over to Champaign to buy this from someone who's at U of I and get back before the roads got really bad. So I got home a decent amount of time after running out there and got home safely. So glad for that. Anyway, future guests on the podcast. Yeah, I'm still looking for guests. I'll be looking for guests. I booked all the way. So I've covered February for the most part. There is a week I'm going to take off because I have to deal with pets. Have an all-day ordeal on Lincoln's birthday with one of them. So I thought it'd be best that I do not do a pod on that day. So let me get this. I got to get myself back on screen here. There we go. Anyway, scoring update. Well, be sure to follow me if you're watching on Facebook, follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/rapsheet. If you're watching on Twitch, follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Crimeycade. And you can catch past episodes on YouTube at tiny.cc/PWCI. I am Crime Fighter on YouTube. And mandatory user post. Will it reach Galloping Ghost's arcade floor? Right now, it is not on Galloping Ghost's arcade floor. That game came up today. But nope, not today. It wasn't out there. They released Strikers 1945 2. And scoring update. Yes, Andrew Wasco, yeah. Was he taking a month off? No. That was rumored. He told somebody he was going to take a month off. Yeah, you kid. He went and proceeded to take back scores that I took from him. Big Karnak, Return of the Invader, Scooter Shooter, Doug Young. Yeah, 4 of my scores were taken back after I took them from him or somebody else. So, yeah, the battle continues. Also of note, Matt Walters took Rayforce and broke 926,000 points on that one. Norbert Vale made his long-awaited return to the arcade and took Hyper Street Fighter 2, breaking $1 million on that. He has also sent me a video of him taking on JP Pitts on a Blitz 99, so I got to view that a little bit later. Also of note, Kevin Williamson has increased his house high on Puyo Puyo 2 for 428,000 on that one. And whoops, the Arcade Wars battle continues. If I can get this on here. Well, One Up Arcade has taken the lead on the high-scoring battle as Stephen Holmes put in a nearly 1.8 million score to counter Pete Hahn's 1 million score. So just a few days left. Have until this weekend to submit scores on Final Fight at any of the participating arcades. All right, my guest tonight. And so why am I doing a Monday podcast? Well, this gentleman is going on a road trip very soon, and I didn't want to wait to talk to him months from now. So I decided to do a special Monday pod so I could talk to this gentleman today because in terms of the Nintendo World Champions, I came after Thor Ackerland, but this gentleman came after me. It's not counting Star Fox 93 because I believe that's kind of a different type of tournament. But anyway, here's the Powerfest 94 World Heavyweight Champion, Mike Iarossi.
How you doing, Steve?
Great, although I'm freezing. It's
yeah,
cold
no
out here.
kidding. It is 1 degree here.
1 degree.
Mm.
You're
Fun.
in Ohio. You're in Ohio.
I'm in Ohio. Northeast Ohio.
Say again?
Northeast Ohio.
Northeast Ohio. So you're around that area. You're right by Pastimes Arcade. Rob Burke's place.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Actually, no, I might have been there once. I was at an arcade. I can't remember the name of it, and it might have been that one. I don't remember, honestly. It's possible.
You're going to have to put that on your list of places to visit because if you're that close, you're close.
Yeah. Usually when I hit the arcades, it's when I go to Arizona to do the show. And there's a few of them down there that I like to go to. I mean, there's one of them, there's a bar. They have a ton of pinball machines, and I love to go there and, play all the new stuff. And they have, I don't know, like 70 machines or something.
Well, if you make it to Rob Burke's place, the arcade pinball mixture is pushing between 600 and 700.
Wow. This
Not as
definitely
big as
wasn't.
Scalping Ghost, of course, but
Yeah, this definitely wasn't that one. The one I went to was much smaller than that.
okay. Yeah, he's got 400 pinballs in there and 300 arcade games. That's a place I'd like to go, but it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah, isn't everything? I mean,
I know.
I hate leaving my house.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. You're the Powerfest 94 champ. You've also participated in the Nintendo World Champions in 90 and 2015. But the humble gaming beginnings, I kind of read you have a very uncommon gaming beginning that got you hooked on gaming. Kind of briefly tell us what that is.
You're talking about like Vectrex? With
No, it
one?
wasn't Vectrex. I read in your Walter Day interview.
Okay.
It was the Odyssey 1.
It might have been the Odyssey 1. Because I could be confused. I could tell you the game. I have to remember. Haunted House. It was Haunted House.
Yes.
So was Haunted House on the Vectrex or was Haunted House on the Odyssey? And that's what I can't pinpoint. You know.
You did say, well, when were you born? I guess it's.
Oh, I mean, I'm born in 71. I turned 55 in a week.
Okay, so we're born at about the same time, or same year. There was a Haunted House game for the Odyssey, and I'm gonna pull up the interview.
It had an overlay that you put on the TV.
Yep.
Yep.
And you did specify that. I know there's an overlay that goes on the Vectrex, but I don't remember a Haunted House game.
My uncle owned this, right? So I would go to my grandfather's house or my grandmother's house, and my uncle had that, and that's like the first video game that I ever played. Right? I can't remember how old I was, 5, 6. It was in the mid 70s, mid to late 70s. And yeah, I mean, with the overlay on the screen, it looked like something. You take the overlay off, and it's just a pixel that's moving back and forth.
Yeah, 2 blocks, and then you have the dials on the controller and a button or a few buttons. Yeah, I've touched it. Cousins had one of these for a time.
So it might have been the Odyssey, I just confused that with the Vectrex because they were similar time frames.
Yeah. Well, Vectrex came out in the 80s.
Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
It was Vector graphics.
Oh yeah, like Tempest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, but so from there, you played Haunted House on a television with the overlays. After that,
I had an Atari.
What did you touch?
Yeah, I had an Atari 2600. I played that for, all the way through. Well, I had that. A friend of mine had it in television. At least the football game on the Intellivision was great.
Yeah.
But I also had a ColecoVision. So that was kind of my stepping stone there. It was I had the Atari 2600, then I had the ColecoVision, then I had the Nintendo, right? And somewhere after I had the Nintendo, I had a TI 99-4A, which is a computer that you can connect to your TV.
Yep.
And it also took a cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
So they had cartridge games, and I remember the one cart game I had was Parsec. So I played on that too, but I started dabbling with coding on that, and yeah, those were fun times.
And somebody's calling you.
Yep.
What was the first arcade game you ever touched?
Oof.
If you did.
Wow. It's so easy to say Pong because I might have touched one of those, in the 70s or something and just, don't remember. But outside of that, wow, I don't know if I could remember what the first one was.
I know Space Invaders was my hook.
Space Invaders, Pac-Man. There were so many Pac-Man machines. My mother, I used to go to bars.
Mhm.
My mother went to bars all the time, so I would be like the plus one, like 5 and 6 year old that would go to the bar with my mother, and I would get free quarters from everybody, at the bar to go and fucking play like Pac-Man or whatever was
Right.
there. So I remember a lot of Pac-Man machines.
Yes.
But I
Um,
can't say if there was something before that because there were Space Invaders in that time, and so many other things. I remember Cubert. I remember Kix, QIX.
yep.
Yeah, um, a lot of games. But Pac-Man came before almost all of those, with the exception of maybe Space Invaders. You know,
That would be accurate.
and Asteroids. You
Yep.
know, which I was terrible at.
So was I. I couldn't play like those some of those players that can just marathon for 72 hours.
Sure, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I like Junior better than regular.
Mhm.
Junior was just more fun.
Oh,
Um, Tron. I used to play Tron. Track and field was my thing. I actually have a track and field machine in my garage that I'm
mm.
restoring. I've been restoring it for years. It's still a project, but I love track and field. Track and field was my jam.
There's a
83.
few. Yeah. 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 I have arcade games at my house, and they're in the back of a garage, but they are in their own little fancy room because I had a new garage built with a room added on, and it's heated and cool, uh, climate controlled.
Okay. I had a pinball machine in here up until a couple of years ago. I had Iron Maiden.
I need a pinball machine. I'd like to have a pinball. I don't have a pinball. And all
I,
the ones that are out there is like you're gonna be spending a pretty penny for anything.
yeah. I mean, I sold it for more than I bought it for.
Hmm.
So that was nice. But I also put money into it. So
Whatever pin I get first, I mean, I cannot get bored with it right away.
yeah.
That's
I,
the
I
risk.
really I really enjoyed the Iron Maiden one. So
So from there, playing the consoles, obviously the video game crash happened,
oh
which
yeah, I remember. I remember going into I couldn't even tell you what store it was. I lived in Jersey at the time. But I remember going into this just whatever store it was, and there would be a bin of Atari games, and they were all
mhm.
$1. That was the crash. It
And
was
I
just
wish I could have bought more of them myself, but
we are
parents
dumping stock, and
yeah.
you could just go in there, and it was just Atari games, as many as you would want for $1 each. And I mean, if only you knew what the market would be today, right?
Yeah.
You would have went in there and you would have bought that entire bin, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know that, and you can't predict those things. So
Well, even with the arcade machines, like people were seeing junkyards of arcade machines that were just left to rot,
oh yeah,
and just discard them, burn them, smash them up because like they couldn't. They're just taking up warehouse space, and they didn't know what to do with them. They weren't making money. I
yeah.
don't know if they tried to sell them, but now
Oh, I know.
years later,
Yeah, it's all stupid these days.
yeah, and even more so, everybody's trying to all the game manufacturers are trying to go all digital and get rid of physical media, and now that physical media is even more valuable.
Oh yeah,
Well, after the game crash, Nintendo revitalized the mark revitalized gaming in general for the most part. Sega and Atari played a lesser role, but they were still players in the game.
sure.
Tournaments started happening.
Yeah, I mean, so the NES is doing, gangbusters, and Sega's doing well on their part. to a lesser extent, but you have what 90 comes along. I'm already like I've been a huge Tetris fan since it came out in '89, right?
Hmm.
So I play Tetris every day. Massive Tetris fan. So I hear about this 90 tournament, and I'm like, well, I'm going to that. So the first one I go to is in New York, and I didn't win New York. That was where I want to say Jason Orlando won, or was
Hmm.
at least there.
Okay.
But he was in a different age group. He was in the middle age group. I was in the older age group. So because they had three age groups, it was 11 and under, 12 to 17, and 18 and over.
Hmm.
So I was 19 that year. Um, so I did not win New York, and then a month or so later, they went to New Jersey, and I won in New Jersey. When I went there, Jason Orlando was there too, and he was wearing his Final Fantasy jacket. So I started chatting him up. I'm like, "Hey, nice jacket." You know, he had this like denim Final Fantasy jacket that was custom, and it had the Final Fantasy One cover art on the back.
Hmm.
You know, it was just cool. So me and him became friends after that, and I win New Jersey barely. I screwed up in the finals. Like I had a terrible final score going up against whoever I was facing. But I won with only like an 800,000 or 900,000 point score. You know, which was awful,
But
awful.
what was the margin of victory?
100,000 maybe. You know,
So a decent.
it
Okay.
was okay, but man, I played bad. You know, and like when you're playing bad, it's doesn't feel
So
good.
you lucked out that the other person was also playing
Yep.
bad.
Yeah, I did. I did. But I mean, I eked it out. And then David Lopez won the middle age group. I don't remember who won the younger one in Jersey. Me and David Lopez, we exchanged numbers and we became good friends. So me and him would talk on the phone all the time and we'd play Tetris. And through David is how I met Dorian.
Hmm.
So, I mean, before I go into that part, you know, me and David, we are good friends by the time the finals come around for 90.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to keep up with like what's going on with the tournament. Are there any new strategies that are coming out? There was the Mario strategy where they wanted you to die at the end of the stage, and that came out like middle of the year. You
Die in
know,
the
so I
middle
heard
of the
about
stage.
die at the end of the stage. So you collect your coins, you get to the end of the stage, and you die to the two Goombas right before the end. And then it puts
Oh,
you right before a 10 block. And it's
speedrunner.
faster to get the coins this way than it is to transfer into the next stage. Because if you remember, clear the stage, now you got to go through the animation to slide down the pole, and you know, points have to climb up and whatever. That's all wasting time. And then it takes time to get two coins in the second stage underground. So
Right.
it was much faster to die, collect the 10 coins, kill a couple Goombas, and die again. You do that like, you know, two times along with what you collect on the first time through, and you're at 50 coins. So hear about that strat, you start practicing that, and then, you know, we're at the finals. And I remember seeing Thor there. Thor practicing in the lobby of the hotel. And I'm
Hmm.
watching him from a distance, right? And I'd heard about Thor, and you heard that he was just like this prodigy kid, you know. And
Right.
I'm watching him, and you could tell that he was at least somewhat autistic, right? But he like knew what he was doing, right? He could
Right.
play, and what's weird was, I don't know how much he remembers this. I swear I asked him this, but he played on the right and dropped on the left, which I thought was weird. But yeah, he was really good. I can tell just by watching him. And at that time, I remember the Nintendo Power that came out while we were at the tournament. Um, I had the highest score. that was posted for Tetris and Nintendo Power at the time, and it came out that month. It was like
Hmm.
743 or some shit like that, and they totally butchered my name.
I'm
Totally
glad
butchered
I
my
spelled
name.
it correctly.
Yeah, it's Iarossi, Iarossi, and they put it in there as like IDROS. Man,
Oh, they
it's just
typoed.
terrible.
Okay.
Idrassi, or yeah, it was horrible. They got 2 letters wrong, and I'm just like, man, I can't even like barely say that's me, you know. But yeah, I had that score in there. I beat that. I mean, I eventually had like a 9-15 game. That was my high. I never actually capped out. Um, but so we're at the finals. Finals was a lot of fun. Um, I was in the 18 and over age group, and I had a pretty good chance of winning that year, but I totally choked in the finals. Like I was when they did the top 30 to make the top 7 to go on stage, I was number 1. And then when we got on stage, I totally choked. I killed both Goombas at the end of the first stage. And then I had to clear that stage.
Mm-hmm.
And totally, I didn't know it at the time, but that really screwed your Tetris pattern. It screwed your Tetris pattern, it screwed your Rad Racer pattern. So all these things that, I'm crashing in Rad Racer, I don't know why, but it's because things were different,
You're
right?
thrown. You're thrown off because you
It
realized
was.
you
I
made
mean,
a
I was
mistake, and then you're.
irritated. I was irritated because I died and I screwed up, but I mean, it just got worse from there, And then I actually lined out in Tetris. Yeah,
Oh, you
I lined
topped
out.
out.
I topped out before time was even over. So I was 7th out of 7 when I got on stage.
Wow.
D'Lo, hey, that's Paul Tessie. Paul
Yes,
Tessie in chat.
I told
Mega
you you were
Retro Man.
coming.
Yeah, he's coming to my tournament this year.
Yes, I got that on my list. Out in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's quite a distance to travel from Ohio
It
to
is,
Arizona.
well, because I am running this tournament for the show, they pay for my expenses. So,
Mm,
I get that
that's
going for me.
good because, that's a. I've never been to Arizona. My sister used to live in Arizona. I'll throw this up here. This is it.
Yeah.
My sister used to live in Arizona, Tucson. I never went out there because I'm afraid to fly, which is probably why I've never gone. Pretty much stayed in the Midwest and
Sure.
uh, took the train to Dallas instead of fly. I would have drilled. I would have drove if I was not what. Well, I could have drove, but I wanted to see the countryside and just relax on the train, riding all the way down there and not have to worry about anything.
I've gotten used to flying. Do I like it? No, but necessary evil, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Necessary evil, but then I've flown on a plane before multiple times. Oh, here we go. I've flown on a plane multiple times, but my fears got worse each flight.
Yeah.
So I had to fly to participate in the Nintendo Campus Challenge finals.
Yeah.
That was my first time. I was with my dad. I was not by myself, so I wasn't freaking out as much.
It wasn't my first, but it was my second.
Mm,
My first time was I went to Disney World when I was uh, 6.
okay.
So I flew down to Florida. But then, you know, at 19, that was the second time I had flown. And that was the first time because I did take someone with me. My girlfriend came with me that year.
Hmm.
So it was me and her that went on plane. So it wasn't
Right.
by myself, but I mean, it was still, it's weird. And it's so different than it is today, right? Like I've
Yeah.
been on planes post and pre 9/11, so I mean, I know what the difference is between those things, and it is it is a big difference.
Yeah. And some of that also played. In fact, that I don't want to deal with that nonsense. So, well, anyway, you found out about the tourneys. You got in Jersey. Um, Actually, we need to skip ahead because we already got you got to finish in seventh overall at the end. So from there. You weren't in college, I assume,
Nope.
because 90, I never entered the Nintendo World Championship. I entered the Sega Genesis college tournament.
Okay.
Did not win at my campus. 91, the Nintendo Campus Challenge comes through, and we're at my college. Yeah, I didn't do Nintendo's tournament because I didn't really have transportation. Being in college, didn't know where to go to participate. So
Yeah.
the tournament's coming to Carbondale, which is where I was going to school. Were my way in. I win the 91 tournament. 92, they didn't even crown a champion. They just drew a name out of the hat and
Really?
gave them $10,000.
That was that Pilot Wings?
That was the Pilot Wings, yes, Super
Yeah.
Nintendo. Yeah, I couldn't. I had Blaine Phelps on my podcast a few months ago, who organized all these tournaments, organized the Campus Challenge, the 92 tournament, and then Powerfest.
Mm-hmm.
I think he told the story of why they didn't do the 90. They didn't do a finals in 92, but Powerfest. This was you went on a journey for redemption after the crash out in 90.
I mean, yeah, there's some of that. I was an arrogant little shit in 92 at 19, so, I probably got what I fucking should have gotten that year, but 94, so 94, the way that comes around is, we pick up Nintendo Power and all of a sudden we see, oh, hey, there's this new tournament. They're doing a Powerfest, and it's got Super Mario All Stars, Super Mario Kart, and Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball. And it's like, okay, they're coming to New Jersey. So I talked to Dorian and I talked to Jason, who I'm still friends with. And it's like, hey, let's go to this. It's going to be at like some PC Richards, I don't know, 3 miles from my house or whatever it is.
I'm throwing this up here because this is actual
footage
footage from that weekend.
There's David Lopez and there's a bunch of the other Jersey guys. Who's that? That's John Basson in front there.
They gave you bomber jackets.
That's Rick. That's yeah, they did for each. So we were separated into groups based on what part of the country you were from. So it was like the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the cyclones, and one more I can't remember.
The lightning?
No, it would have been another, like hurricane.
Oh,
name,
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, so we were on the tornadoes. We had the least amount of people. I'll go into that in a little bit. Right. Anyway, we're at this first tournament, and I'm doing better than everyone there, right? They do qualifiers for like 2 days, and then on Sunday they're going to have the finals. I'm top qualifier, and I'm getting to know like the guy who runs it, talking him up a lot. So, we're getting along really well. This kid gets into the finals because somebody else didn't show up. Right. So he was placed 9th. He shouldn't have played, but somebody didn't show up. So he gets to play. And he ends up winning. Like he plays against me in the finals and he beats me. And I'm like, I mean, no big deal. Right. I I wasn't bothered, but he was like this 11-year-old kid, and he's like super stoked that he won, right? And I'm like, yeah, congrats. No big deal. We're going to go to more of these, and I know that. Like, we already have plans. It's like, where's the next one? We're going.
Mhm.
I'm going to get a win. Don't worry
That's
about it.
you. That was you
Yeah,
for a brief moment.
and that was Dorian, and
Yeah.
there's David. Yeah. So
It was
I
the
will come.
Typhoons was the other team.
I mentioned this kid because he's going to come back. That's John Basson, and that's
Mhm.
Dorian in the background there, rubbing it. Yeah, there's Dorian again. I'm still friends with Dorian. Dorian runs a tournament with me in Arizona. So we go to the next one in Pennsylvania. I think it's in. Oh God, the name of the city. You know what? I can't remember the name of the city.
Pittsburgh
Anyway,
or
it's in
Philly?
Pennsylvania. No, wasn't that major? Wasn't that major?
Scranton or Allentown or
It was definitely Eastern Pennsylvania, but I just can't remember the name of it right now.
okay.
Anyway, we get there. Same guy's running the tournament. And what's funny is I go up to him and he's training somebody new. He's like, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm okay." And he's training this new guy to be able to run the tournaments. He introduces me to the guy and he literally says, "Hey, this is Mike. He's going to be your winner for the weekend." Right. Right. As soon as we got
That's a
there.
prediction.
Right. But I mean, he said that because, we just got along so well. And he knew that I placed second the first time. And, he knew that I was good enough to win. So we go through, and I did win that weekend. And that finals, I went up against Jason Orlando,
Mhm.
which is funny because Jason is with us. It's me, Dorian, Jason. I think Jason Provost was there. And there was one other person. I can't remember right now. Anyway, it comes down to me and Jason in the finals, and I am taunting Jason. Now, Jason's a friend of mine, so of course I'm going to taunt him on stage. When it comes to put your name in on the cart, I put his name in for me because I know it's going to bother him. It's going to get in his head, right? His name, he puts in Super JJ. I put in Super JJ. He's like, "What are you putting my name in for?" I'm immediately in his head, right? Which is the whole point. And we start playing, and I'm doing well. We get to Griffey. I'm hitting home runs, and the crowd is cheering for me. And then he is hitting home runs, and nobody's cheering for him. He starts getting angry, and he starts shouting, "How come nobody's cheering for me?" And I'm like, he hits a pop up, and I'm like, "Oh man, I don't think that's gonna make it. I don't think that's gonna get there, man." I destroyed him in the finals, and it was hilarious. Jason went to so many weeks, and I'm good friends with Jason at the time, but Jason is a very competitive person in this time period.
Mm-hmm.
And he never won any of the tournaments. The closest he ever came was that week when I beat him. It was not Sorge. Sorge was the one who beat me that first week. Yeah, James Sorge. So anyway, I win. Dorian won the next week in Cincinnati, and then we had a bunch of other friends that won also. John Basson won, David Lopez won, Provost won. We had, I don't know, 7 or 8 people from Jersey who went to the finals, because I didn't go to every weekend that they went to, but I probably went to, like 8 or 10 of them, and I mean, a lot of it's just practice.
Yeah.
But it was also like we had such a fun time that summer, just like traveling the entire Northeast. We went to, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, like Maryland. There were so many cities that we went to, and it was just like every week we were going somewhere else, and it was just a blast. So that part of it was in some ways better than like the tournament, right? Because the memories that we have from that, are what stick. So then we get to the finals, right? And we're all there. We're having a great time. And James is there. James Sorge, this kid that beat me that first week. He's there. And he's there with his mom. And I'm in the hotel. I'm right by my room, and I see James, and James sees me. And he points at me. This is an 11-year-old kid, maybe 12, and I'm like 23 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it's a kid, you know. But this kid is fucking taunting the shit out of me. He's like, I beat you once. I'm going to beat you again. Lightning's going to strike twice. And this kid is just like, and I'm looking at the mother like, nothing?
Pro wrestling trash talk. You gotta
11.
love it.
This kid's like 11 or 12. I can't do anything physically, you know, but I mean.
Except roast him.
So, you know, we have fun throughout the weekend. And then it comes time to where we're going to do our finals. So there's 131 or 132 players.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do rounds of 16, I want to say.
Yeah.
So 16 players go up and play at a time. I play in like the third round.
Mm-hmm.
And I put up a score that's about 20 million, somewhere around there. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to make it, you know. It's close, but I don't know. There's a lot of people left to play. Maybe. But I see James go up a couple rounds later, and James does not do well. And he comes back and he sits down, and he's sitting like a row in front of me to my left. And I'm like, hey, James, I don't think that score's going to make it, buddy. And he starts fucking bawling. He just starts crying. And I'm like, you shouldn't have fucked with me. You shouldn't have fucked with me. This is what you get.
Let me see. Is he on here? Oh, he fit. My gosh. 55.
Yeah. So he did terrible. Right. And again, look, I have no other recourse with this kid other than.
Yeah, of 132.
You're not going to make it, buddy. And man,
agony of defeat.
That wrecked him. It wrecked him, and I mean, shouldn't have fucked with me. That's it.
You know, so
you can't sit there and talk shit and then expect me not to fucking say something when you shit the bed.
I will say this. So, Game On Arcade, yeah, we had chases for Gamer of the Year and other championships. And yes, I would, because I hung out with the local pro wrestling scene, a lot of that seemed to have, well, the wrestling mentality went into the gaming scene, because now we have wrestling shows at gaming cons now.
Mm-hmm.
So many wrestlers became, or either it's their secondary career or their post-wrestling career, become game streamers or professional gamers. Right now we have somebody in, oh gosh, Johnny Cass, who is the Midwest Gaming Classic World Heavyweight Champion. He's a gamer and wrestler. So he started his wrestling career at a game con, of all places.
Sure. Well,
then complete with championship belt.
So somebody like Kenny Omega, right, who's a huge gamer, and then ends up doing like mocap work for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
And he is essentially Alex in Street Fighter 6 now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool stuff.
Well, anyway, here, I was going to point out, here you are, first round, number
first
11.
Round, 20 million, yeah. So, I mean, it's barely there, right? Because they're taking top 16. If I hit one less home run, you know, that's 1 million points off that.
Yeah.
Right? 1 million points off that, I'm probably not making it. So that's what it was. It was just one home run. So we get into now I'm top 16, and I there's a video of me. One of David Lopez's father was filming a lot of this, and I remember
Go back to that.
there is some video of me on there, and I said if I can make it into the top 16, I can win. I know I said that on camera, and I truly
Somewhere in
believe that
here.
because I was a consistent player, right?
Mhm.
I didn't really have bad games. I never had the best games, but I didn't have bad games. I just had very consistent. I would hit 16, 17, 18. Which is what's so hard about making the top 16 in that first round is you had to hit about 20. And if you
Yeah.
didn't, then you were out. And 20, not an easy thing to do.
No. Plus, you had to speed
So,
run the first two games.
sure. So, second round, I'm in like I only have to beat half the people,
Hmm.
right? Beating half the people to me, that's not nearly as hard, right?
Right.
Being better than 50%, I can manage that. So like second round where they take top 8, I think I was 5th. And then when they're going to take top 4, I think I was
I think
3rd.
I got. So I do have this pulled up.
Yeah,
You never were in first place in
I
the
wasn't.
rounds
Yeah, up until I won.
up until you won. Fourth in the
So
second round, and
4th in the
then
second round.
third in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Brandon
So
Beach, you got ahead of him.
yeah, so then we come into now we're going to change the game. Oh, here's a big surprise. You're not going to play this anymore. Now you're going to play Donkey Kong Country. And I'm like, we saw this coming, right? It's like they're going to do something. It's going to be Donkey Kong because they're advertising Donkey Kong, right?
Hmm.
It's just coming out. Of course, they're going to push this.
Hmm.
So me and Brandon were the only people at the show that I know of that actually owned Donkey Kong Country. We both got it right before we left for the show. I got it like the morning I got on the plane. And I had it with me at the hotel. We sat in the hotel all weekend. We were playing it. But even before that, like a month before Donkey Kong Country came out, they had demos in the store. Nintendo would put like demo carts out. And
Hmm.
I knew the manager at a software set by me. And I'm like, hey, can I borrow that demo for the night? I'll bring it back in the morning. And he's like, sure. And we took the demo home. I invited a bunch of friends. It was Dorian, it was Jason Provost, and a couple other guys. And we played through the entire game of Donkey Kong Country that night because the entire game was on that demo. So a month before the game was even out, we had already beaten it. Now, we're not really learning things because our entire goal that night was just, hey, we have this game. Let's just beat the shit out of it and see if we can beat it before I have to bring it back in the morning, you know? And we did that. So it wasn't really like we were learning stuff. It's just like we knew how the game worked.
Hmm.
But then I had the game while we were at the hotel also. Now this works because hey, I know how the game works, I know how the game plays, but it also worked to our detriment in some ways too. Because once we start playing on this cart, there are differences between the actual game and the game on the cart. So when me and Brandon are playing, we went for one of the secrets toward the end of the stage, which is there's a gap you can fall into that has a barrel and it'll shoot you and you can go and get bananas. That barrel doesn't exist on the cart, on the competition cart, but it does exist in the regular game. So me and Brandon look like idiots sitting there just rolling into death. And then me looking at the audience at Doring and being like, what the fuck just happened? There's supposed to be a secret there. And there wasn't. So, we're learning on the fly, but we also are familiar with the game enough that the two people that we're playing against are much easier to beat. So my whole strategy for that round was just, hey, let me just try and figure out what scoring is like and stay ahead of these two people who have less experience. And that's what I did.
I will say that prior to Powerfest '94 finals, I did actually have a little experience with Donkey Kong Country as I attended the very last consumer electronics show that ever be held in Chicago. They decided to just do one in Vegas every year and dump Chicago entirely, supposedly because they opened the show to the public in 93 and that didn't go over well with, I guess, the exhibitors. Well, cry harder, in my opinion, because I wanted to go. And I got to go. Managed to get in. I just had to create a business card and then claim to be a vendor or something.
Mm-hmm.
And got in, got to see the showcase of all the new Nintendo and Sega and arcade games and even prototypes, and I had a blast. But you've had some experience with that too, haven't you?
So what are you talking about when it comes to that?
You've been to a consumer electronics show, right?
I've been to E3. I've been to
Been
many
to
E3s.
E3.
I have. My first E3 was the last one in Atlanta, which I want to say was 98. So after that, I went to a bunch of them in California. Yeah.
Where I can't go because it's too far away for me to drive. And I'm just starting college or finishing up high school at that point.
Gotta take that plane, man.
Well, I also had to be able to afford the plane tickets as well.
I get it.
Didn't have a job. Was trying to just starting college, and only had so much funds to play with.
Yeah.
But
so we're in that finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're just down to me and Brendan. And I'm like, okay.
Pause that for a second. I got to tell you a little backstory on Brandon.
Go ahead.
Now, obviously, I was trying to get into go to the Powerfest finals. First played to Mattoon. I last minute missed hitting a ball that might have kept me in or got me into the playoff because somebody knocked me out at the last minute and put me in 9th place. I was hanging on and I missed one ball and on my last playthrough, and then a kick and then just knocks me out. I believe the Veaches were there, both Brandon and Shannon, but neither one got in that place. Shane Urbana for my next attempt did not make it into. I don't believe I made it into the playoff there either. My third and final attempt, and the Veaches were hitting more of these play sites. By the way, this video here is the current world record for the 94 tourney cart, although Paul Tessie sent me a screenshot that he beat this score, although it was not recorded.
Was this is this Brendan?
Yes.
Is this Bro 2346 or
yes.
Bro 3256?
Yes.
Yes.
And I just noticed that feet maxes out in a 999, so the only way that this goes up is you hit another home run or you get more points here. So if this is maxed out, this up here kind of matters a little more than it would have otherwise.
Sure.
But anyway, last chance for me, Mount Vernon, Illinois. The Veaches are there again. I finally break into the playoff. However, I got a little too greedy on Mario Kart trying to collect a coin because the Veaches mastered Power Slide. I couldn't do it for some reason, or never learned how to do it, or every time I tried to do it, I messed up. I just kind of, it wouldn't, it's like I was lost control of the cart when I did a trip to the Power Slide. So in the playoff, missed the curve, and it's like screwed myself up, and it's like I got a lower bonus because you get 90,000 for first. You get, I believe, 60 for second, or less than that. But take this down for a second. So I lose in the first round of the playoff. Wouldn't you know it? Brandon Veach takes home the brothers finish first and second and go to the last round, and Brandon ends up winning Mount Vernon and flying out to San Diego to face you.
Yeah.
And I was stunned. I was like, I know that kid. When I saw it, who played in the final of the Powerfest in San Diego, I was like, I know who that is.
I had no interactions with Brandon that whole weekend. So I really never spoke to him or anything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just the young kid that I beat.
And that's him on the left. Or that's him right there, isn't it?
I mean, I couldn't even tell you what he looked like anymore. So long ago.
That was him. Because JD Roth, I think, talked to him during one of these play rounds. Or maybe he was on the way on the left. I don't know. But anyway, you had a Donkey Kong cart. He had one.
Yeah. So we're down to just me and Brandon now, right? So now, just me and him, we're going to play against each other. But what ends up happening is they're going to start these carts. My cart starts first, and his starts a few seconds later. Right? Which doesn't seem like much, but I go through. I am doing, the best I can, because now it's like, okay, no more figuring anything out. Now it is just win. So I can tell that I'm ahead of him. Like I'm on the right side. He's to my left, and I could see his screen, and I'm peeking over, and I could see his score, and I could see that I am just a little bit ahead of him. Certainly not by much, but I am a little ahead of him. And comes down to the end, and time's up. But he's still playing. And I'm like, 5 seconds is the longest 5 seconds in the world when you see somebody who is still gaining score and you are done. So I'm looking at his score and I'm just like, please stop. Please just stop. And then it was time over and I knew I won. And first words in my head were, holy shit, I won. Very first thing that I could think of. And then I look at the audience and I see Dorian. Dorian does this massive leap. I could see him just leap over 4 rows of fucking people. Just it was a crazy, crazy moment when I won, but I was super stoked. And then things just got really hectic after that. They wanted, we want to get you outside and into the car. They have a Mustang outside. We want to get you in there and you drive the car for, 15 feet or whatever. And then we want to get pictures. So we do that. There's a new car. I wasn't used to a car where you had to hold in the clutch in order to start it. I was used to hey, throw it in neutral, fucking brake, start the car. Car wouldn't start, and I'm like, "Fuck's going on?" Oh, the clutch has to be in,
Yeah, I will say the Geostorm I won, the car they had on site was manual and not automatic.
I mean, I knew how to drive a stick. It's just I never drove a newer stick where you had to have the clutch in order to start the car.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the only, problem there. But I mean, get past that, and then we take some pictures, and it was all, history from that point. But again, they don't give you the car. They come to you afterward and they're like, hey, so the deal is you won $5,000 cash. We can give you another 15,000 cash, or we'll give $15,000 to a dealership that you can go and then buy a car. I'm like, yeah, just give me a $20,000 check. I'm good.
See, they didn't offer me cash for instead of the car.
Mm-hmm.
They assisted with picking up the GSI from a local dealership in Jacksonville, Illinois, where I was living.
Yeah. They had a sponsorship. It had to be a sponsorship thing.
Yes, Geo was sponsoring the whole tournament. Yes.
Yeah.
Was Ford?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, they might have been a small sponsor, right? But not enough that they just gave them the car.
I believe the Sega Genesis tournament was sponsored by whichever car they gave away that year. The winner of that, by the way, if you know the whereabouts of the winner of the Sega Genesis 90 tournaments, we're trying to find that gentleman because he needs to have his trading card.
So the only one I know is Chris, and Chris is popular enough, right? He's got his bag.
Yeah.
But that was 94, right? I don't know any of the other ones.
Okay. 94. So you were off. You took the cash. Jeez.
There was a bunch of other prizes too. Like there was a TV, like I don't know, a 32-inch TV or something they sent me. A VCR, 50 brand new SNES games, which I can give you another story about.
They didn't offer me any of that either, and I wish I had asked for my tournament card because I might have gotten it. They did
the exercise bike?
No, the Campus Challenge cartridge.
They gave me the exercise bike.
The Super NES, okay.
Yeah, it came with mountain bike, whatever. Yeah. So there was other things too, right? In total, it was like $30,000 in prizes.
Wow.
Right.
With the cash. You had to work. Yeah, you had to work. Well, you had the cash so you could pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
I had to work all summer to pay the taxes on my Geo.
Yeah. I did go out and buy a Mustang. I bought an 89 LX50. Paid like $6,000 for it. So, and then I fucked around with the rest of the money. The carts, though, those SNES carts. I mean, sure, everybody would think now it's like, oh man, if only you kept those. You had a bunch of sealed Super Nintendo cartridges. They'd be worth so much. And it's like, fuck knows that back then.
Right? No, you wouldn't. I would have been pulling it out and playing them.
I already owned almost all of the SNES carts that I wanted, so I ended up returning almost all of those carts to Toys R Us. I would go in with a friend of mine, and we would return like 2 or 3 carts at a time, and they would give you Jeffrey money, full price. They would give you the full price of the game because they were sealed, and I didn't need a receipt. So we return a whole fuck ton of these games. And then all of a sudden, I have this wad of fucking Jeffrey money, right? But every time a game came out, it was like, let's go get it. Because I just have this like free fucking money. So whatever game you want, we can get. The Sega Saturn came out, bam, go buy a Sega Saturn, right? So one time, I drove to Ohio to visit my my mother. And I was driving home back to Jersey. I got pulled over. So I was speeding. Cop pulls me over. He's like, can you get out of the car? Sure. You mind if I pat you down? Yeah, that's fine. I have a trench coat on, and I have this Jeffrey money in my inside pocket. So he's feeling it, and he's like, hey, what's that? I'm like, I have a story for you. I have to explain to this cop why I have like $1,300 in Jeffrey money in my pocket. So I go through this whole fucking explanation of this, and the cop looks at me and he's like, "Nobody can make that up." He's like, I'm just going to give you a warning. Just slow down. That's great.
I mean, you could have handed him your trading card. Well, no.
I didn't have that then. This
Yeah,
is like
I
1994
Silly
or
me.
95.
Yes.
You know. But yeah, I mean, just one of those really interesting stories, you know, where hey, you get pulled over by a cop. I have a wad of Jeffrey money on me. I have to explain it. So,
Right.
hey, I'm the Nintendo World Champion. I won all these cards. I ended up returning them to Toys R Us, and you know, this is what I got. And he's like, "Oh,
because I already own
yeah,
the
no,
card."
nobody could make that story up, so you can go."
Trying to find my silly little card, and I don't have one in here right now. Oh well. And Tessie's amused. All right. From there, well, I didn't know how long we can go because it's after 7:30 on my time. Let me speed this up a little bit. You got invited to 2015.
I didn't get invited, but I went.
Mhm.
So I knew. Oh man, what's Power Glove guy? Triforce. I knew
Yeah.
Triforce, right? So Triforce was like, "Hey, why don't you go and compete in 2015, and I'll go with you."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Walter's going to be there
Okay.
because he's going to do something to Galloping Ghost," and I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." So we get on a bus and we fucking go to Chicago, and I do the 2015 thing. Now by this time, I'm like 44 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and my hands are not as steady as they used to be. Okay, I'm diabetic, and it affects me, especially in high pressure situations.
Mm-hmm.
I have to play on a handheld, so I have to hold this thing in my hand, right? And
Mm-hmm.
as I am playing, the handheld is doing this, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I'm doing okay. I have my whole setup, and I misplace the last piece, and I line out in Dr. Mario.
Mm.
And I would have had to drop. I know I could have beaten Bidwell's score that he got there. I know I could have beaten that, but it was like at the time it was like, well, you can only play once, and it's like, all right, fuck it, I'm done. I just stood out in the rain for 2 hours. I'm over this. Let's go eat lunch, and then go to Galloping Ghost. So that's how that went down. I mean, I didn't hate doing it, but I was also at the point where I don't really care about competing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had my time. Would it be cool to win and go there again? Sure. Things happen. It wasn't the end of the world. I honestly did not care that I lost.
But you did make the trip to the world, the site where the tournament was being held, didn't you? Or was
No.
that
That
2017?
there was an article in Nintendo Life that got put out. I'm going to tell you right now, Triforce was the one who was pushing that. He was so adamant that he was going to be able to get me into the finals and get an invite, and I'm like, dude, this isn't going to happen. But he started pushing all that information out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that article from Nintendo Life, that was all on him. I had nothing to do with it.
So it was fake news.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a little irritated, and I mean, I've spoken with Triforce a little bit on and off since then, but I mean, for the most part, that was kind of it.
Triforce has gone kind of radio silent, but then that was probably after all the drama surrounding Donkey Kong scores.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing is what it is.
Yeah.
I met, God, what's his name?
Billy Mitchell?
Billy Mitchell. I met Billy Mitchell. I've got pictures with him. He seems like an okay guy, but I was never invested. You know,
Right.
I liked Walter. Walter is a really nice guy. I feel like I feel like he needs better people around him. You know,
Don't we all? Well, we're getting older, so he does kind of does.
but it is what it is. You know,
My other cat is running back and forth on my desk, and
mine are upstairs.
well, she's 18 and elderly, but she's acting more like a kitten instead of an elderly girl lately.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means, but she gets to go to the vet next month again for dental work, and I don't know how that's going to go because I have to give her some medications so they can work on her teeth, and I have to get
so
up at 5 in the morning for that. Well, I'm not a 5 a.m. person.
so we do the
Hey.
'94 thing. I
Mhm.
win. You know, years go on. I
Mhm.
remember sometime around 20 or 2006,
Mhm.
4, somewhere around there. Every once in a while, you gotta do a Google search on your name and see what comes up. I remember I do this once, and I find this post online from James Sorge, who has posted on some forum somewhere, and his like tag on the bottom of the post is like James Sorge versus Mike Iarossi. I will have my revenge. And I'm like,
Mm.
it's been 10 or 12 years, man. I don't know you. What? How much did I fuck your fucking life up? You know?
Living rent free.
Like, holy shit, man. I showed this to Dorian, and Dorian was like, oh my fucking God, I don't believe this exists.
Well, you know, there is something I do when I have a grudge against, well, not exactly a grudge, but kind of a way to settle scores if I'm on the downtrend. Best of 7 challenges at Galloping Ghost Arcade, which I've had a few and I've won. I've not won all of them, but I've won a few of them, and it's not like getting in the ring and beating each other up. It's just having a competition to see for bragging rights.
Sure. I mean, I I used to be a really competitive gamer. I used to give a shit about things like that. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
a big Street Fighter player in the early to mid '90s, and you get into that whole scene. But at some point, I just stopped caring. You know, it was like, why? I don't play any competitive games anymore. I for on some level, I started looking at how competitive gaming like affected people, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like it's just highs and lows. Yeah, I won.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I won. Fuck, I lost. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no middle ground. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I did EverQuest for a long time. And I was a raid leader. That affected me in a lot of ways because that was really competitive for a while. I did that for like 4 years. I did WoW for a while to a lesser extent, but I don't know. I stopped needing to chase that, you know. And once that competitive edge was gone, I no longer cared. It was like
I
if I
will
did something, cool.
I will say this. Probably the reason why I've stayed in the gaming scene so long. Wrestling kind of was dominating because I was running around filming events and kind of freelance reporting on the local scene because you meet all these people on the local scene and you hope that one of them makes it to WWE and a few of them have in my zone. uh, gaming took a back seat, at least until, so it was just me being a casual player, not because there wasn't very many competitions to go enter, I guess, during the 2000s. Galvin Ghost Arcade gets on my radar. I start going in 2013. After a couple of visits, it's like, got the scoreboard of all these scores, and it's like, and their names underneath. It's like, then I start getting inspired then to start going after some of those scores. And because I never score chased back then, you did back for submit scores to Nintendo Power, but I didn't really have a good method to submit scores to Twin Galaxies or Nintendo Power because I didn't have a top of the line camera that will record a screenshot on your television because of that
Sure.
doggone shutter bar that runs through.
I mean, I just took still pictures, man. I still have them.
Well, a
Still
lot of
have some of
them,
those pictures.
you really need a digital camera for that, not a film camera. So
No,
you
I
take
used
a
a film
picture.
camera. There were no digital cameras, man.
Yeah.
This is 1990.
I mean, you could have a Polaroid, but how good is that taking?
It didn't
That's the
matter as
closest
long as,
thing.
I mean, you do it in a dark room, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, you turn all the lights off. You have just the TV, so that's the only light source, and you get a clear picture. You know. And but the thing is, you got to go. You got to develop the film. You know.
Not
So,
modern technology or videotape or send a videotape.
but it worked, right? They just couldn't spell my fucking name. So we go now. Several years passed.
Yeah.
Getting to 2015, I do the 2015 tournament and whatnot, and then I get a call. Dorian is talking to John Lester, who runs Game On Expo. He's going to do this. It's the first year he's doing it, and he's like, "Oh, I heard that you're the Nintendo champion. Would you like to come and do something for the show?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's do something." So we went there. We just kind of ran like the Powerfest tournament, just like we did, in '94, and that was just kind of the thing. And then over the years, we've kind of tried to expand on that somewhat. Like at first, for the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, what I did was I would come up with 5 games that I was a big fan of. We would use one of the old competition games as a qualifier, like 94 or 90 or 91. But then I would have a gauntlet of games, usually one game from each genre. Like you'd have one racing, and one action game and things like that. And I would create a tournament. So you would have, your top 8 finalists, and then they would play the, 5 or 6 games that I would put into the finals. And I remember the one year it was like Punch Out, like Super Punch Out, Marble Madness, Super Mario World. Fuck, I can't remember what the other 2 were at the moment.
But either way, it was a retro tournament.
Yeah.
Gradius?
And you would come up with,
that's a good choice.
Yeah. But we would just make whatever rules it was. Like you'd play the first stage, highest score on the first stage.
Right.
Whatever it is. F-Zero, fastest time. Things like that. And that's what we did. But eventually what I did was I decided I want to make this something that's more consistent. Right? I want this to be a tournament that starts to grow more and gets more interest. And I think if we make it so that we're doing the same thing every year, it's not exactly the same, then maybe you will draw more people in who become interested in that thing. So we started using all of the competition cards from the 90s.
Yeah.
So we've got 90, 91, 92, Star Fox, 94, and Donkey Kong. 6 cards. One of those cards we choose to be a qualifier every year.
Right.
So this year is Star Fox. Last year was 90.
Okay.
I don't like using 91 because it's the same pattern every time,
Yeah, and if
and it
Paul
becomes.
Testy entered, he would win it every single time because
I
he
mean, we
broke
have some other.
60 million
We've got some other
recently.
really good players too, but it just becomes like it's not interesting at that
Right.
point, you know. And I want it to be interesting. I want it to be a little more randomized than that. So I avoid using 91 as a qualifier, but it's still in the finals. And our
Yeah.
finals is a gauntlet. We have the 8 finalists, and we have 5 monitors set up. Number 8, whoever places 8th, they come on the first game. They play the first game. They finish that, they go to the second game. Number 7 comes into the first game, and it just goes down the row. First place plays last until first place has gone through all 5 games. It takes like an hour to go through the entire finals tournament. You get points based on where you place in each game. So 8 points for first place, 1 point for 8th place.
Ranking like
And
220.
yeah, and the winner. Right now, we're giving $500 out for first place, $250 for second, $100 for third, and there's a belt. And we also have like some custom cards that we make every year, and we give those away too.
And I'd love to
Like
enter that, but it's in
I'm giving
Arizona.
away, I'm giving away Star Fox cards this year.
Mm.
We've got some gold Star Fox cards that the qualifiers, like the top 3 qualifiers, will get a gold, a silver, or a bronze Star Fox competition card. So,
That's
yeah,
this year.
so I try to make it really interesting, and I think it's doing well. This is the first year that Paul's going to go, and yes, I would put money on Paul probably winning, but not guaranteed because when it comes to the finals, anybody could screw up. You only get one shot, right? There's no reset when you get into there. If you mess up, that's it.
I got a mess up story I need to share with you.
Yeah, go for it. I already told you mine.
St. Louis, they did have the tournament cartridges going. They were giving away some cachet of prizes for winning. My cart was played for getting the highest score for the weekend or or closing, I guess. I don't know if you've heard of the gentleman known as 8-Bit Brody.
I don't know 8-Bit Brody.
He is a YouTuber. He's like the used car salesman of video gaming. Well, this was the first Missouri Game Con, and I was a guest because I was the 91 Nintendo Campus Challenge champ, and they were running a Campus Challenge tournament. So he challenges me to a high score on Campus Challenge. Well, I was playing it as if I was not playing against 8-Bit Brody, but going after the high score for the weekend. Well, that proved to be my undoing. He gets a low, like 200,000 score or something, garbage score, because his game is Mega Man, not Super Mario 3. Or Dr. Mario, for that matter. I'm point pressing on level 1, the turtle spam method, which nobody thought of back in 91, 92. Everybody was just like floating and stomping Goombas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mess up a few times, and then I get to Pinbot, and I miss the skill shot multiple times, and time expires, and Ryan and Super Mario or Dr. Mario. So 8-Bit Brody beats me by default.
Good job.
Yeah, that was.
You know what? Low stakes. Didn't matter.
Yeah, low stakes. Although I did beat him in a rematch another year, so wow.
So
Although
what do you play? What do you play as far as like console or PC gaming these days?
So I'm actually playing arcade games. So Galloping Ghost.
You do just pick Galloping Ghost, or do you also do like MAME or something?
I will do MAME for practicing before I go up to Goblin Ghost and challenge the scores up there.
Okay.
Uh,
X
you
Arcade? Do you have an
went,
X Arcade?
I yeah, the actual arcade hardware. Yes.
Do you have an X Arcade controller for your PC?
Yes, I do.
I do too. I
The
have one.
tank stick with the trackball in the middle.
I have one of the first production run X Arcade controllers. It's sitting
And
in the corner over
it's
there.
way back there. About
Yeah, I think they came out in '99, the first ones.
yeah, that was $200 for one of those. And there was like, now I got this new computer desk and I haven't tried it out on this thing yet. I need to soon. I tried on my old one and then I was like playing fighting games and the whole daggum setup shook
Yeah,
with
I
the
just built
monitors bouncing around.
I just built a new computer last year, so I mean I do tons of PC gaming. That's my thing these days. I mean I have a Switch 2, I have a PS5, but PC gaming is my bread and butter. But I mostly play like single player games. I play a lot of RPGs. I like JRPGs, and I just played Octopath Traveler 2 and things like that. But I'm also a huge Dark Souls fan. I haven't played Souls in a while, right?
But you're really
Partly
into this one.
I was. I played a lot of Dark Souls, especially back during my streaming days. I did tons of Souls runs back then. Um, I was talking. We talked a little bit about this in our little chat before we started the stream, but I mentioned that Dark Souls represents a kind of a point in gaming where things started to change. There's definitely a pre Dark Souls time period and post Dark Souls time period, and it's
Mm-hmm.
quite noticeable. Um, Pre Dark Souls, companies were, I mean, in some cases they still are, but they've let go of it a lot more
Mm-hmm.
since Dark Souls. But they used to love to hold your hand through everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was, we don't want you to miss something. We want to make sure you understand everything. So everything has to be told to you
Mm-hmm.
and simplified and also just dumbed down, right? Like you go back to what the original God of War games were, right? Which were basically just button mashers, right? Do maximum carnage on the screen, and they wanted to make that happen as easily as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had your weapons, and you did a bunch of damage, and it was easy. There was a lot of games that were in that vein, but post Dark Souls, you saw this shift where companies took note that maybe we don't have to treat gamers, like with kid gloves.
Right.
And then you see God of War actually come out and they move in more of a Souls like direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And becomes more popular than it was before. Part of that is just story writing, it's not just gameplay, so I'm not going to pretend about that. But it's just a noticeable shift, especially when it comes to like indie games. Like indie games are where you see some of the best games that come out these days. Things like Hades or Hollow Knight, things like that,
Right.
which don't sit there and hold your hand and can also increase difficulty. Like Hollow Knight, those are not easy games, but
Right.
they're also extremely popular. But you didn't see any of that type of stuff pre Dark Souls, right? Dark Souls had a massive influence on what the industry did with gaming after it came out. And I think that is a very positive thing, right? Now, gaming might not be in a great state overall right now, just because, with the price of where they want to push gaming, they want to go to $80 games, and people are afraid of what's going to happen with like GTA 6. Is
Yeah.
that going to be $100 game, and is that going to push more companies into trying to go? I mean, honestly,
Inflation.
just don't buy AAA games anymore at this point. I don't care about GTA 6. I don't play the GTA games honestly anyway. So those things don't even affect me. But I just look at it like, man, there's so many great games out there that are just Hollow Knight's $20. Hollow Knight
Yeah.
Silksong is $20. Going to get you more value than just about any AAA game than you could find. That's going to cost you 60, 70 or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that the industry goes in more of those directions. Expedition 33 came out this year and was one of the best things I've ever played. You know, such a phenomenal game, just from a story perspective, even not taking into consideration what they did for turn-based RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a story perspective, it was incredible. So I hope that they, um, I hope that they take influence from that.
I
You know, I
don't
keep
think they'll have a choice at this point because I covered this last week. They're running out of money. They don't have the newer games are not going to have 8, 9-figure budgets. You'll be lucky to get 7.
depends on the company, right? You're still going to have these companies that want to push boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I love Elden Ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring is not a cheap game to make.
No.
But FromSoft is a company that doesn't sit here and try to nickel and dime its fucking player.
Right.
There's no microtransactions in FromSoft games. You know, they put a game out, it's the whole game. Here's everything. It's $60. Have fun, right? We're not going to nickel and dime you with 50 pieces of microtransactions that you could have gotten in the regular game, but we were too greedy to give you. You know what I'm saying? I think more companies should take note of that. Even like CDPR, right? As much as Cyberpunk got, kind of dumped on when it came out, I thought Cyberpunk was a phenomenal game, right? But again, they didn't nickel and dime you. And then they don't do that with The Witcher either. They put out DLCs. They put out a quality. I mean, at the time, sure, it was bug filled, but the game had more content than a lot of other games that you would get, especially from something like, I don't want to rag on like Call of Duty because they release the same thing every year, but, you pay $60, $70 for Call of Duty just so you can get some new maps, right?
Yeah, no, I
Or
play
FIFA.
first-person shooters, but those deathmatch type games.
You want to pay $50, $60 for FIFA so you can get the updated roster,
Oh,
Come on.
gosh.
Give me a break.
I don't
Same
buy
thing with
it.
that.
Sports games ain't my thing either.
Right. So, but I think that there are a lot of people that are getting tired of that, and you do see that in, like, if you look at like what are the most played games, it's things like Fortnite and whatnot, and these persistent games that have been around for like 10 years now. It's nothing new. New games, they come and they go, and I mean, but Minecraft has that like super creative edge to it, and it's different. Because Minecraft is kind of you create your own thing, right? So I can't compare that to a lot of other games that are just a linear experience. All
right. We're gonna kind of wind this down some. You didn't even get to you got your tourney cartridge from
I don't
Hendrix.
I don't have a 90. I sold it. I sold my 90 a long time ago.
But the Powerfest one,
Dorian has one.
Dorian has one. Okay.
Yep. Dorian's got one.
All right.
There are 2 that exist. He has one of them.
So you believe the other carts got destroyed. Now, Blaine Phelps told me the 91 cart did not get destroyed as previously believed. They were all given away. So they might still be out there. Maybe more than 2 originals.
Okay.
But we don't know. They haven't turned up. And only Only one copy of my tourney cart has ever turned up. And I wish I asked for a copy of it.
See, that was an interesting thing about 90 that a lot of people
Or
don't know.
91, but
Right.
90.
In 90, we had a dinner the night
Mm-hmm.
before our finals, and they did not want to give us carts. Like, we had asked, and they said, no, nobody gets carts. They get dismantled after the tournament's over. The parents of those kids really rallied Nintendo. And at the dinner the day before, Nintendo came out and said, hey, we know you guys want one of these carts really bad. We can't give them to you now, but we are going to send everybody a cart at some point, in the next few months. And it was those parents that made that happen. That's why we got those carts. So
I believe Nintendo Power actually had a giveaway of
gold
those
carts.
carts too.
They gave away gold carts.
But I didn't even think of asking for a cart because I was euphoric after winning the car. So
yeah.
Oh well. At least I've got a reproduction cart from Robin Mahara.
Mahara.
Yes.
I haven't seen him in a while. Last time I saw him was 2019, somewhere around there. We did a show in California.
Future goals.
You gotta get out to Arizona one of these years.
But what are your future goals? I have my future goals.
What are my future goals?
Yes.
Man, you know what? Right now, just get through today and get to tomorrow. My mom died last year. It was actually right before I had to do the show. I didn't think I was going to be able to do the show the last year, because the show was at the first week of April, and my mother was really going downhill since Christmas of 24. So she was bedridden from late January up until when she died in late March. And I'm sitting here and I'm taking care of her, and dementia's starting to set in and all these other things. And it was an extremely difficult time because my mother was also, she wouldn't let anyone take care of her, which is a very difficult thing to go through. So I would try to call 911 because I wanted her to go to the hospital. They couldn't take her because she wouldn't let them. So I'm driving myself crazy here. I literally went on Reddit trying to find what the fuck can I do to help? I know she's dying, but I need help, right? I can't watch this happen. And they said, call hospice. I said, don't I need a doctor's approval to get hospice? And they'll get it. Don't worry about it. They'll get it. So I did. I called hospice the next day. She literally died that week. I got hospice in the first time on Tuesday, and I got her morphine on Wednesday. She died Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Ugh.
And that was it. Right. But I mean, in some ways that's the relief, I've been going through this for months at this point with what the fuck do I do? And it was extremely hard, but I also had the show that was literally the next week, and I had postponed my tickets. I'm I told everybody, I'm I don't think I'm going to make it, but if something happens, then we'll see. She died on Thursday. I got on a plane on Saturday.
And
I went to the funeral home. I made arrangements that I had to on Friday, and I'm I'm leaving. I'll be back in 9 days. We'll settle everything when I get back.
You need the distraction.
I did. I needed to get away. You know? I needed out of this house. I was already in a shit mindset. I needed to be with some friends. So in the time since then, it's been me trying to like fix up this house and get things in order, you
Mhm.
know, and that's kind of been where my focus is. Outside of that, it's been hard to
Mhm.
think about anything else, you know.
Hall of Fame, International Video Game Hall of Fame. You're not currently a
No,
member.
I'm not, and they've tried to get me in there a few times. I know Triforce was like pushing, and then it just didn't happen, and I stopped giving a shit.
I still want in,
I just,
but
you know what? The whole thing
it's
is like they
still.
have the best gamer of the '90s. It's like, dude, I won '94. I'm a '90 finalist. You're putting in these people that I don't fucking they've nowhere near the accomplishments that I do. Not to like shit on them or anything, but they put Bob in there who won '90, and that was the only thing he ever did. I like Bob. I'm the one who got in touch with Bob to let him know, hey, they're looking for you.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just weird. And I'm
The
just,
person they got in last year had a lot of Sega accolades that I did not know tournaments happened. As like, I didn't know about this tournament. I didn't know about this tournament, but this guy dominated all these Sega tournaments.
I stopped voting, so I don't give a shit.
Oh,
If I get
well.
in, great. If I don't, also great. You know, I I do the tournament that I do at Game On every year. That is, kind of my gift to the community.
Mhm.
That's my giving back. Saying like, hey, let's bring hopefully some younger people in like Brendan
Yeah.
Bro 3256. He's been going every year since he was like 13. And I've watched him grow up, and it's been really cool. And now I'm trying to involve him more in
Mhm.
what we're doing. You know, so yeah, that's what I really care about.
All right. Any final words?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. I'm glad I was able to talk to you tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I, you are officially my successor as a Nintendo champion because but I didn't get as much attention as Thor did, you and Thor got more attention than I did. So it
Thor
is
got
what
all
it
the
is.
attention. Thor got
Yes.
all the attention. Let's just. I mean, Thor and Chris Hansen, right?
Yeah.
Chris had a lot, right? When
Or
I
Jeff
won
Hansen.
'94, Jeff Hansen, yes, Jeff Hansen. Um, when I won in '94, Jeff was there, right?
Yes.
So that was interesting. He came to my hotel room and he had one of the '94 carts with him. Apparently, they gave it to him to take over season, and they never asked for it back.
Ah.
So
So it was
that
one
was
of the
weird.
one of the two survivors, or third. I guess it's a third survivor.
I think it was two. I don't know what he did with it, but I think it's one of the two that's out there now. I've spoken to Jeff a few times since then.
It
He's
was
a
Jeff Hansen who
Jeff is a really
actually
good guy.
played against a Japanese competitor for the 92 Campus Challenge cart, although that wasn't a Campus Challenge playoff. Didn't know that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know what? Maybe that was the cart that he had. Maybe that was the one because I know that he said they sent him overseas to play in Japan, and they
Yes.
gave him the cart, and then they never asked for the cart back.
Okay. That makes more sense. All
That
right.
could have been that
All
long
right.
time ago.
Yeah, I know. You know why I did this? I'm doing this podcast now to kind of relive some of my past
Right.
gaming glories. So, and then find out things I didn't know back then and piece that together by talking with some of the personalities from back in the day and in the present and kind of get those stories out that may not have gotten the attention they had deserved or before it gets lost to time entirely.
Oh, sure. I mean, how relevant so much of that stuff is, who knows anymore? It's definitely the earlier days of like esports, you know?
Yes.
I always had kind of an issue with that name, but it's kind of whatever. It's stuck.
Yeah, it stuck all right. But, I still enjoy doing it and participating in the gaming scene, and because I feel there's a lot more to mine than I've been able to mine because I had other things distract me. So, but anyway,
Thanks for
Mike,
having me.
Mike, maybe someday you'll make it back up to Galpin Ghost Arcade, or maybe you'll get over to Rob Burke's place, past time. But maybe we'll see you around the arcade soon. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe another game con. Bring your retro tournament to
I
the
can't.
Midwest Gaming Classic.
I can't.
Some year. Maybe not this year, but
I have
another
reasons
year.
that I can't do that. I have reasons that I can't do that. And it's because all of the hardware that has gone into what we do has been bought by the show.
Oh,
Unfair
okay.
for me to then take that to another show. Yeah, I would
You
not.
have to come
I
up
would
with
not want
something
to do that.
original then.
I'm a very loyal person, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. I've been asked.
Yeah.
It's not like I haven't been asked, but I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Maybe I'm gonna have to muster up the courage to fly down to Phoenix. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, one of these years. Hey, at least it's in like March. It's not like 115 degrees.
Yeah, but is the weather gonna suck in March leaving the state? I don't know. I don't want to hit a blizzard, and because that's travel is risky. Trying to fly out of an area where a blizzard's going on, so who knows?
I get it.
Or maybe I'll drive because my sister moved back to California, so I don't know. But the pets have to not be around anymore, or at least my elder, because I have to medicate her every day. So
Yeah.
anyway, Mike, thank you for coming on the Crimeycade, and hope to see you around maybe one of the game cons in the future.
All right. Take care of yourself, Steve.
All right. Have a good night.
Later, man.
All right. Mike Iarossi, the 1994 Powerfest champion, and I was glad to have him on the pod. Now I gotta get the other Nintendo champs on this podcast in the near future. When will I have them? Don't know. But coming up later this week, this is a special Monday pod. I'll be back to my regular day and time on Thursday. And my guest will be Craig Bass, the Year of the Phoenix filmmaker, who is producing Ghost Lord and the Quest for Dark Presence. This will be officially the first gaming documentary I'll be in. How much of this production I'll be in on the final cut remains to be seen, or maybe I'll have a bunch of extras. Who knows? I'll have him on the podcast this Thursday to find out where things stand with the documentary. I know one thing: Dark Presence has not officially been released yet. We're still waiting for the game to be finished, and I don't know. It's 95, 99% completed, but it's not done. So, will it be done coming up on Combo Breaker weekend, coming up on Memorial Day in Chicago, Schaumburg Convention Center? We'll see. Week after, I'll have a new GameCon roundtable. David Bryan will be making up, having to pull out a month ago. In fact, the last pod of the year, last year, David Bryan will be in to talk about the Augusta Video Gaming Expo on March 21st in Augusta, Georgia. I also have Miguel Ventura, who has been running the Retrofest in Texas since for the last 11 years, and then Scobie Holt, who is running the St. Joseph RetroCon in Missouri. This will be the second year for that. And that will do it for this edition of the Crimeycade podcast. I will be rating a channel as usual. So who will I rate tonight? Well, I want to thank you all for coming on. And as I get the window up, well, I hope to see you around the arcade soon. Until this Thursday, I'll see you later. Alright, I'm gonna give the raid to Nintendo Land. Min, we'll get the raid tonight. She's playing Super Mario Galaxy 2. I'll see you later.